Hey everyone, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy and the New Earth Now School with your November 2024 energy update. I hope you all are doing well. Got some important themes that I want to share with you this month, and I'm recording this just a day before the election. I'll probably release this on election day, and what I most want you all to take away from this energy update is that whatever happens, however this goes in the United States election, is exactly the medicine that we need. Now, I talked about this a couple of months ago that we don't always get the medicine that we want. Sometimes we get the medicine that we need. It's very clear to me that there probably isn't going to be a definitive answer tomorrow, and that we're going to be in a state of needing to be in patience and waiting on some things to come together before we get a decision on what exactly is going to happen with our political system moving forward and who's going to be at the helm. And we are going to have to accept whatever it is. And that might be a tough pill for some of you to swallow depending on the way that it goes. And I also, though, just trust that whatever it is that we need, however difficult or glorious that may be, we will get it. And so I just want you to be tuned into that awareness and know that going in, and hold the timeline that you most want to see come into fruition of how you want to see America move through its changes. If you are in another place around the world, understand that we are impacting you. And so help us to hold a vision of peace, of neutrality, of unity, and of connection. That's what I'm holding anyways. All right. So let's get into the November themes. So we have some big astrological things happening this month, with a final shift from Pluto in Capricorn into Pluto in Aquarius. We have been on this yo ride for many months now. I personally am looking forward to that date of November 19th when we can come out the other side of this back and forth energy. Aquarius is very much about rebellion and innovation and doing things in new and different ways. It's also, in its shadow side, about misinformation, disinformation, cult-like followings, herd mentality. We can see how that might be showing up in some of our energies right now in the collective. So that's the influences astrologically that we're under, among many others this month. So let's talk about the themes. So the first theme that I want to share with you all this month is accepting what is. And so I just spoke about that, not just with the election, but whatever season or experience you are currently having in your life. The invitation in the month of November is to accept what is in an empowered way. And I often have to have a very distinct conversation with clients about acceptance and surrender, because they don't want to perpetuate something that isn't helpful or that feels uncomfortable. And while I understand that, you can't get to the other side of into a new beginning until you fully accept what is now. And acceptance doesn't mean that we detach from ever wanting it to change. It just means that we fully and holistically experience in presence what is happening now, and we look for the medicine and the lesson in it. Okay, so that's our first theme this month. And I know that we're going to see this playing out on the world stage, but I also believe that you all are going to be asked to drop into deeper acceptance of certain things in your life and in your experience. When we are in this state of acceptance, we open the door for neutral energy, which allows us to detach a little bit from the need for something to change, and actually invites in energy for something to be able to change. And so that's really what this first theme is about. It's about kind of releasing the grip that you might have on something. So if you're really ruminating on something or going over and over on something in your head that you really want to shift, and you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to make it happen, you're trying to become more perfect in order for something to happen, the invitation this this month is to drop into deep acceptance of what is. And this is something that I talk about a lot when we're doing healing work, when we're doing shadow work. Scorpio season that we are in November is a lot about pulling back the curtain and looking at our shadows and accepting what is a big part of our shadow work as well, including things about ourselves that we may want to change. Okay? So that's the first theme. The second theme is opening the emotional void. That is a mouthful, and it has a big energy with it. I have been talking with a lot of clients about deeply buried emotions and emotions that sit on the outside, on the surface level of other more deeply buried emotions. So for example, what I'm feeling in the collective right now is anxiety and anger. And those emotions tend to, at different degrees, sit on the outside of a deeper emotion, which can be disappointment, sadness, deep feelings of hysteria, and really repressed survival fear kind of energy that we might be carrying. And so I really think that this month we're going to be asked to open up the emotional closet, pull back all of the things at the front of the closet, and really go a little bit deeper into, okay, what am I really feeling about this experience, about this person, about this situation? And when we can actually go deeper into that emotional void that we sometimes have in our emotional body, where we just drop things in the void never to be seen again, if we can unearth some things this month, I think it's going to be really fruitful for us. And so this is not a month to skirt any issues or try to just have a surface level pleasantry conversation with people. This is a month to use the intensity and the passion that comes with Scorpio energy and go deep. This is a month to go deep into connection with self and what's really going on underneath the surface for you, and get really clear on that. Even if at first it's confusing, just be willing to stay in this place of openness and curiosity so that you can figure out what's really going on underneath something, underneath a behavior, underneath a kind of surface level feeling, and find those golden nuggets. And what I think some of you might uncover in the relational space, you might think that you're upset with someone or upset about a certain thing in a certain relationship, and it may actually be a deeper trauma or a deeper wound or a deeper level of emotion that you've been carrying in a lot of different places in your life that's getting triggered in this one situation. And so if we look at that, we can say, wow, what a beautiful opportunity for when this trigger comes up in this almost surface level way for me to actually look a little deeper, so that not only do I heal it in relationship with this person, but I can heal this pattern holistically in how I relate to others. And this can also show up in work. I know a lot of people have been coming to me about different patterns that they're in, self-sabotaging cycles in their working life, and where they're maybe giving their power away and not taking care of themselves because of their obligations. And that we have an opportunity to, once we understand that, to say, okay, how do I give myself what I need so that I can pull out of this pattern and move forward in my life? I think this is going to be something that's going to allow us to reclaim a lot of energy if we can use this emotional intensity and drop deeper into these emotions in an effective way. So that's theme number 2, opening the emotional void. So the next is piggybacking on that a little bit. The third theme that I want to share with you is voicing your truth from the heart. I personally have been having some hard conversations lately with people, and I've noticed that there is a fearful part of me that has in the past maybe been really dysregulated and been unable to express herself clearly, and maybe, even been in projection and got really misinterpreted in certain situations that is still healing. And what I'm noticing this month is that I am finding this beautiful opening in my heart space where I can look deeply in someone's eyes and have a vulnerable conversation about what isn't working and maybe what I need from them in our dynamic, or just expressing what's happening with me from a vulnerable place. And I think that we're going to see on the other side of these kind of really polarizing energies where we've been in such isolation and separation that we're going to be craving deeper connection for the next few months to start to heal some of the wounds that have been brewing underneath the surface with this election energy and so many other things that have been happening, like the disaster in Western North Carolina and some of these other natural disasters in so many different places around the world. And I think if we can get a little bit vulnerable this month, it's going to really serve us in being able to heal some of those deeper wounds that I was just talking about in opening the emotional void, and really move forward and have deeper connections with those around us. I think anytime we're in a heightened state of polarity and separation, where we're in a right versus wrong kind of energy, of villain and victim energy, we have an opportunity to claim the higher octave of that, which is saying, okay, let's use this embattled frequency and find where we can find common ground, but also just find the places where we have the ability to both be vulnerable and talk about our pain, so that we can realize that we're both just having a human experience and we're both in pain. I think a lot of times, unfortunately, being a human means that we're going through some hard stuff. This is not a beginner level school that we are a part of here in Earth School. This is the advanced level, believe it or not. And so even when we're behaving at our worst and we're in our projections and we're in battle energy, the reason why that's happening is because we signed up to have this extreme amount of polarity and try to find our center even in that. And so the more that we can drop into our heart before we speak and really come from a place of vulnerability, the easier it is to cut through the noise that exists in our collective consciousness right now. And one of the things that I have witnessed about what's happened in Western North Carolina, as I have talked with people and I have worked with so many clients who have been impacted in that area, is that when there is a tragedy, when there is a trauma, when there is a collective pain, it takes us out of that polarity for even just brief moments, and it makes us realize that this is just another human that I'm talking to, and we have a shared experience. The reality is we don't need a trauma to remember that. And I'm really hoping that as these Aquarian energies take hold more and more, that's one of the things that we can do, is that we can find that common ground without needing to go through tragedy to get there. It seems to me that's when we see the best of people and the worst of people oftentimes. And I really hope that we can begin to claim that common ground and know that we're both human beings having a human experience with hard things happening in our lives. One of the energies of this Aquarian age is about power to the people. And so we have to, in a very empowered way, claim our truth and claim our voice, and realize that when we are in pursuit of truth within our voice as we express it in the world, that we are bringing our medicine to the world, and we are shifting things at a collective level every time we speak from the heart. There may be somebody that you encounter and they have just been met with so much opposition and so much defensiveness and so much judgment. And if you meet them with a different frequency, who knows what could happen in that person's life. And none of us are going to be perfect in this. We're all going to have moments where we lose our center and we join that polarity. But I think if we can bring some consciousness to this desire to live and speak truthfully from our heart, then we can really start to shift the dial in the collective. That's the third theme that I wanted to share with you. The fourth theme is the one that we're going to be covering in Healing Circle. It's going to be a week later this month on November 20th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And it is Heal Yourself, Heal the World. So I have been having so many conversations with people recently who feel really powerless and feel really inept at being able to help with some of the really difficult things happening on the planet. And they get a little disillusioned and a little disconnected from the fact that when they take care of them, when they nourish themselves in well-being, when they exist in a state of centeredness and groundedness and regulation in their nervous systems, when they are being of service to self, that they are absolutely helping to heal the world. And that creates a foundation of wellness and well-being inside of you that then allows you, when something bigger comes along that you know that you can help with, to actually have the energy and the resources and the capacity to do the thing that needs to be done. And so this particular theme of heal yourself, heal the world is really you starting to more acutely become aware of how within the web of connection that is the human collective, that how you factor into that in your well-being. And so we're going to really be working with you as an individual to claim that when you take care of you, you take care of everyone around you. And this is counter to a lot of programming. This is very much a wounded feminine program, but it comes up regardless of what gender you are. It comes up for everyone. So some of the conditioning that we have is that you take care of others and then you take care of yourself. And it's a little bit bigger than the old moniker of put your oxygen mask on first. What I really am wanting you all to take from this particular theme is the actual ripple effect of the little things that you do for yourself every day and how that impacts your frequency field and how that impacts those around you and how that creates such a strong ripple effect that goes out into the mass collective consciousness. And so this is really starting to become very aware and dropping deeper into your knowing of your own microcosm, and then seeing how whatever it is that you're working on in your life currently, whatever lessons you're working through, whatever consciousness you can bring to those lessons is always helping the collective to shift. And to give you an example of this, one of the conversations that I've been having a lot lately with women is that when they are in relationship with the masculine, whether that's with a partner or with a child who might be in a masculine body, when they begin to own their emotions and express that and express it from the heart and express it in truth, that they open the door for a new beginning for the masculine to then be able to connect with their emotions as well. And I believe in my female body that part of what I bring to the table as a leader and as a way shower is my expression of my emotion. I'm stepping out of that paradigm that says that's a bad thing in leadership. That's a bad thing, that we're going to become emotionally volatile and we're not going to be able to think straight. One of the missions that I have in life when I'm speaking and when I'm sharing with people is to be as vulnerable as possible and let y'all know when I'm struggling, because that's what keeps me in a human to human conversation with you. And so I know that when I'm taking care of myself and I'm taking care of my emotional well-being and I'm expressing that, not only am I helping myself to heal, but I know that triggers something in each of you that helps you to heal as well. And so that's really the essence of this theme. And I think that it's going to be a very powerful healing circle, because this is going to prepare us to go into the winter solstice in December, and we'll have another theme that comes in December, and it's going to build on what we did in October, which was hopeful new beginnings. Some of those new beginnings might force you to be a little bit more self-focused for a period of time so that you can get them off of the ground, right? I'm thinking of those of you who are starting new projects, or maybe you're writing a book, or maybe you're in a new relationship and you're going to have to pull back a little bit of energy and focus on self so that you can create a firm foundation for all of those new beginnings. This theme is going to help you all with that if that's something that's coming up in your life. I have jokingly been saying to people in session lately that this is your selfish era. And when we're in our selfish era, it's not that we become self-centered and self-absorbed and we become the worst shadow part. It's that we just take care of self. We nourish self, and we know that when we do that, we help everyone around us. We're going to be doing a lot of deprogramming of some real stories that are very counter to this vibration, where we maybe think that it's not okay to take care of ourselves. So that's the theme for November that we'll be working on in Healing Circle on the 20th. Heal yourself, heal the world. I also want you to know that we still have some spaces open for our Costa Rica retreat in May. We are going to deeply drop into connection with body, connection with earth, slowing down, pulling out of the collective noise, and just being engrossed in nature. If that sounds like medicine that you need and you're starting to plan what you want to do next year, I will put the link to that below this video. I also want you to know that I have finalized the itinerary for our trip to Peru, and I will be releasing that very soon. Those of you that are on the wait list, you're going to get first dibs on being able to be a part of that adventure that happens the end of July and early August. And my husband and I are working on some exciting new projects to continue to give back to Western North Carolina, and I will be continuing to ask you all for help as I expand my mission there and try to help those who need us in this very difficult time of reconstruction as they rebuild their lives and they work on healing their trauma that has been activated by this experience. So stay tuned for more information about that. All right, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you will tune in again for my next update. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Bye-bye.